Episode 15 of Protect the Boss picked up where, 14 ended, which is when the prosecutor's office came and collected all of the paperwork from DN Group. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden. With episode 15, we pretty much saw everyone in the company getting questioned to see what's going on. You know, they are the crime that they are doing with the chairman is tax evasion. So that's what they got him on. And after, questioning everyone, there's even rumors going around that Yoon Sol is the person who leaked all the documents. And even in the meeting with the lawyers and all the other secretaries, Secretary Park was there. The chairman was like, oh, he doesn't believe that it was actually Yoon Sol who leaked the information, and that whoever leaked the information is going to be the person who gets out of here unscathed. So whoever, everybody here should be affected by it. So he's like, um, you know, the person is going should the person who is guilty is going to get out of here like with no problem, right? So then Secretary Park goes and is like, oh, I want to go to jail with him because, he's gonna kill me if I don't. Da, da, da. And I'm like, it might be him. So I think what the chairman is doing is he's like playing in his head, because the man, even though, even Nayun's mom is like, he's so finicky, because he's like one thing, then the next day he's like another thing. So it's like the chairman is playing in his head. And, because originally he was like, he wants to avoid jail time, right? But here he got jail time because the chairman was like, whoever gets unscathed, he's going to kill him, right? So now, when they were, so the chairman got 5 years, I think they said, but they didn't sentence him yet. They were going to give him 5 years, and for some reason, Secretary Park was also in the jail cell with the chairman. And then he was like, telling him stuff in his head, again, filling his head. So like, now he's trying to do these things so that he doesn't look guilty. But I'm like, you already found out. I don't know. And also, with all of their mothers, the Nayun's mom and Muon's mom, because they're the ones who originally plotted this thing. So, she's going over there to scare them. I mean, she asked them for permission to, Yunsol asked them for permission to scare the moms into acting properly. And like Muon's mom, like, if you really think about it, it's like, I get it. You want, but you have your own hotel. Why don't you push your son to take over your hotel? Why do you need him to take over DN Group? Like, I get it. You feel like he should have gotten it because your husband wanted it. It's like this older thing. So if, chairman's the chairman's brother was the older one, he was supposed to get it. But I think in the beginning they were like, the reason, the brother didn't get the company is because he was greedy and he was doing bad practices. That's why, he didn't get it. But you doing all these schemes, all these plotting to um get him out, when it's like the company that you want your kid to take over, you're dirtying the name because you always you act like you're hurting him, but in reality you're also hurting the company. So it's like now you want your son to take over a company that's just been in the news with bad name, like a bad connotation all the time. Like, give me a break. And the same way you're doing, there's gonna be other people that are gonna try and dirty your son's name too. So it's like her whole reasoning is pointless when it's like you have your own thing, you have your own hotel. So why don't you both of you work together and build the hotel? But it also looks like Muan has another company that he is working to build, because I think it was like a logistics company where he made where his grandma is an investor in the company. Like, this happened in like episode 13 or something, 12 or 13, when the grandma um came to when the grandma came, yeah, to sign the investor sheet for him. So it's like, move on. And all this fighting is like unnecessary. And towards the end of episode 15, Jiyoon is telling Yoon Sol that he thinks they should break up, and all this is stemming from the father is like, oh, you two can't be together, blah blah blah. I don't even see why he's saying the two of them can't be together. Like, it's so annoying. Like, so what? How about you clear her name then? If you're saying they can't be together because of, oh, she's the whistleblower and he's this, oh, she's poor and he's this, like, who cares? Like, you're the boss, you can change the rules. Like, it's not like society makes the rules. Like, you could do whatever you want. And the company and his name, your name, has been in the news for so many bad things that it really doesn't matter at this point. You know what I mean? To be like in the newspaper, oh, he's here, he's going out with her, they're getting married. Like, it could easily clear her name, but she's taking the blame. She's pretty much taking the blame for everyone. And to me, that's weird. With episode 16, pretty much everybody got their quote punishment, and I'm guessing reward, because you know um with the whole thing that they published, it wasn't just the chairman who was in it, it was also Jiyoon. But he got away because they were like, there's not enough evidence to put him in trouble. So he was pretty much let go. But public opinion made a big impact. So, his grandma came back into the company, and in the board meeting, pretty much everything he was in charge of went to Muan. So now Muan is in charge of everything, um like the coffee place that he was in charge of and the amusement parks. So all that went to Muan. Then, the chairman he resigned from his position. So he had to do, before he had to do 180 hours, and now he has to do 200 extra hours, and then he has to pay a fine. And then I think they said he was getting 3 years of prison time, but then they said something else. So I don't even know if he's serving the prison time. Um, and then, since he resigned, now the grandma is putting Muan's mom as the acting chairperson. And I'm like, this lady was plotting the whole time, um since the beginning of the show, and as the now you're assigning her as the acting chairwoman, and she's gonna take over his office. um she's like, oh, I just want to test her and see. I just want her to, you know, do this so that she can realize how hard it is, because, the Jiwon's dad came to the meeting and was like, "What is going on? You betrayed me, mother." And she's like, "I just want her to see how hard it is so that she can stop doing this." And this whole thing actually caused him to have an episode, because he normally he was faking it, but he could feel some pain in his chest. But this time around, I guess he was really, really, really hurt, because he was like, you know, Muan's mom betrayed him, No Yu Sol betrayed him, and even his mom betrayed him. So like he was like he was about to have a heart attack type of thing. So they had to bring him to the hospital. And Yoon Sol, they had her, pretty much transferred, because that's what the chairman wanted. So they transferred her to a distribution center, and there was nothing, Muwan or Jiyoon can do about it. But now that the chairman resigned, Muwan went to visit her and told her, like, now he could pretty much change what happened so he can transfer her somewhere else. So pretty much all day before, they transferred her over there just for her to sit on a desk, and everybody who gets transferred there, they sit for a week and then they quit. So they're expecting her to quit after a week, but she's like, no. So she started helping people around. She's like lifting stuff. So like every day she's pretty much lifting cases, and transporting to different things. So the distribution center, she's either working in the back or she's working um, in the front, resupplying things. So it looked like it's a supermarket. So that's pretty much it. That's what she's doing. A lot of heavy lifting. And when Muwan was like he was going to see her, Ji-yoon also went to go see her, and his new Secretary Kim, well, technically, Secretary Kim is his old secretary from episode 1. But he was like, I'm gonna leave you two lovebirds alone. And Ji-yoon left his phone and wallet in the car, because he was just gonna go in and see Yoon So and then come back out. But the secretary left. So now he has no money and no phone. And also, this is the same time that his father is actually in the hospital. So like they're calling him and they can't get to him. So, um, you know, Yoon Sol had to pretty much drive him back to the city, which is the end of episode 16. And speaking of which, like in this episode, I realized that her hair was short. And I'm like, when did she cut her hair? I didn't even like notice that she cut her hair for some reason. Like no one did a big deal about it. So I guess that's why I didn't notice like when exactly she cut her hair. But I did like notice like when she was putting like I kept noticing it like when she was putting her hair in the ponytail, the low ponytail, it kept bothering me because it kept flipping. And I'm like, why is her hair like that? Like I didn't remember her hair like that before. And then it wasn't until they did a flashback in episode 16 that I was like, her hair was longer. And they cut it out of nowhere. So that was interesting. And then they don't really show you their relationship like that, but Secretary Kim and Moran, like they got their own relationship going. Now I don't know if it's a, boyfriend girlfriend relationship, but you know, when you see each person, like when you see Moran, she's like she was like, yeah, Secretary Kim told me, da 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 da. And then when you see Secretary Kim and they were talking about Yoon Soo, and he was like, yeah, Moran told me about this. So that means they're interacting together. It's just they're not showing you this interaction. And I wonder why. Because they're so funny together. With episode 17, she was pretty much, you know, when they found out about what happened to the father with him having like the cancer in his, I'm guessing it was cancer in his heart, but it was so early, the first stage, so he was able to have surgery and get rid of it. But Jiun was like, just wait for me some more, da, 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 da. I need to work on something because his father's like, you need to secure your place in the company. So he had to go and do that. So he told her to wait. And I think they said like 3.5 months went by. And then that's when she finally decided to quit her job um, back at where they sent her to the distribution center. So she decided to quit her job there and go to pretty much go back to Seoul and look for a part-time job. So she was like working as delivering food for a chicken company, and then in the meantime she was also trying to find another permanent job. And he tried to get her back, and she was like, no, the time you made me wait was too long, so um you're no longer in my head. And I'm like, girl, just because you say he's no longer in your head doesn't mean he's no longer in your heart, right? So, um, you know, he's trying to like even get her back into the company. So when he took his time, he was working on another project and he improved a lot. So Muwan was able to bring him back to headquarters because, his grandma sent him somewhere as well because of public outcry. So he had to work hard on that. And then because he improved, Muwan was able to bring him back to headquarters. But now I think they're saying that Muwan is his boss. So that might change. Who knows? And Muwan's mom is still acting as the acting chairman. So we'll see what happened. And then, in the span of 3.5 months where they were showing you, Yoon Sol and Ji Yoon's relationship, but then there's also Nayoon and Muwan's relationship. And after the 3.5 mark, she was getting tired of him like ignoring her. So she decided to tell her mom, like, yeah, let me go on a blind date. And you know, Muwan was like pissed about it. So he went to like get her from the blind date, but the blind date itself wasn't even going well. The guy spent like 20 minutes insulting and degrading her and talking about, oh, the Cha brothers. I know you were involved with them, but I don't care. My mom had a problem with it, and she's like, what the hell? So she just like walked out. And when they got outside, Muon's pretty much telling her, like, I told you I was busy. I told you I was this, but every time you call me, I'm always here. Am I not? So I'm like, you both are you both are like wrong in this situation, but it's just a matter of figuring out how to talk with each other and how to be with each other. And the thing I didn't understand is like her mom is still threatening to like take her apartment away if she doesn't do what the mom tells her to do. And I'm like, you didn't buy her this apartment though. So how are you going to take it away from her? Muwan is the one who bought the apartment for her. So how can you take away something you didn't buy? Like, so that threat, she shouldn't even be using that threat anymore. You know what I mean? So now, you know, back to Jiyoon and Yoon Sol, he pretty much wants her back, but he was able to get her back as his secretary. So he gave her like a 20% increase and better benefits, right? But his father's like, oh, I'm only giving you approval for um for her being your secretary. She can't be your wife, blah blah blah. So he's like, I pretty much did everything you asked me, so I'm going to do whatever I want. And then his father's like, okay, fine. She could be your secretary, but if you work at getting your old position back, and then you work at getting me my position back, then we can come back and talk about her being your wife. And I was like, oh my gosh. Episode 18 pretty much starts with, the scandal being broken out about Jiyoon. Especially how 17 ended with um the reporters knowing that she is the informant and that, oh, they're dating, blah blah blah. So um as she was heading into the office and he showed up too, and they were like, oh, are you the informant, are you dating? And then he was like, yes, she's the informant, yes, we're dating, like, isn't she cool? So that just started a whole bunch of articles being published about them. And everybody's like, who started this scandal? And everybody's thinking like it's Muon's mom that started it, um, because they know how she is, and she's over here sitting there acting like the chairman, right? So she goes to Nayoon's mom to be like, was it you? And they started fighting, like pulling each other's hair. And I'm thinking it's the guy. It's the guy because he was like, if I go down, you are all going, both of you are going down with me, right? In episode 17, when both of the women didn't want to deal with him anymore. So he's the one starting it to probably frame them and get them to go crazy with each other. So now, with both moms being at, you know, they're fighting now. They don't want the kids to be dating each other. They don't want Nayun and Muan to be dating each other anymore. And then you have, um, Jiyun and Yoon Sol with everything going around. There's also, um, with her identity being out there. Somebody else wrote an article about, oh, how she used to be a gangster back in high school, how she used to beat up all these people. So, like, everybody in the building is like looking at her, like, and then talking behind her back and all this stuff. So it's getting pretty crazy. So he had to, like, what's his name? Jiyoon decided he wanted to go tell the board that he's resigning from his position, and that, but he's still a board member, so he wants to make sure that they're doing, they're pretty much acting the right way. But there are people on the board who are, like, she's still plotting, because the grandma, she found out the grandma is looking at different CEOs to come take over the company. And she was like, oh, my reign as acting chairman is coming to an end. And he's like, somebody from the board was like, oh, it's time to take them all out permanently. And I'm like, you just don't learn. You're still, like, plotting with other people to, like, take them down, and it's annoying. I don't know. Shit. It's just crazy to me. And even her son told her, like, hey, if you do whatever you want, but if it's bad and they kick you out, like, I'll be waiting to take your seat. Like, or he even said, like, I won't be your son anymore. And she's still over here plotting some stupidness. So Secretary Park was able to, you know, gather information about them too. So the two women um, got in trouble for tax evasion as well. Muon's mom and Nayun's mom. Um, and then Secretary Park went to beg for forgiveness with the chairman. And now I'm guessing all they got was community service, because they were doing it with, they were scooping up gum with Jiyun's father. And then you had Nayun asking them to, like, bless her relationship with Muon. And you had Yoon Sol asking the chairman to bless, you know, her relationship with Jiyun. And then you also have um Jiyun, who's, like, begging her father for her hand. And it's like, oh my gosh. It's like you have a bunch of parents who just don't approve of their children's relationship, but it's like, it's in a new time. Like, even Jiyun said it himself, like, he doesn't need his father's approval. He could just get married without them saying yes or no. But I guess for some reason they're asking for the parents' approval. Jiyun was finally able to get approval from his dad. And then, he went on to the proposal, which was very cute, by the way. He rented out the space, even though she kind of figured, like, that's what he was doing. She was like, wait, are you proposing right now? So, like, it was pretty cute. He gave her the I love you 3 times thing. and then sang her a song, and then asked to marry him, and said that, hey, let's do it for love and not that arranged marriage crap. Um, and then the day of their wedding, what's her name? Nayun was supposed to have the rings, but she forgot it at home. So now, so now they don't have their rings for the wedding. It's funny. They used their wedding to kind of give you a preview as to where everyone was, you know, or as to what everyone is doing in the future. So, like, as they were walking down the aisle, they were like looking at different people. And, it's weird to me seeing Secretary Park there. Like, why are you at their wedding? You guys are the ones that caused the whole, like, you're the one that caused majority of this, by being sneaky. And he was there, and he pretty much, I guess he only spent 3.5 months in jail because he was in jail before with the chairman, and then the chairman had the whole scare, and then after Yoon Sol said it was 3.5 months, he came out. That's when he went to the other lady. So I guess that's the only time he got. um and when he took the other ladies down, all they got was you know um community service. So him, in his future, he was able to open up his own company. He was making waffles and something else. And the two moms, they're still scheming because Muan is the managing director there. And Chairman Shah went back to being the chairman. So she's like, Nayun's mom wants to plot with her again to bring Muan to the top. And I'm like, who is he competing against now? Like, Jiyoon is not even in the company anymore. So you guys don't even need to be plotting. But it just goes to show you, even in the end, they didn't learn anything. But at least they're friends now again, and um they're teaming up. They're letting their kids date. So I guess that's something. Muran and Secretary Kim, I guess they're not dating. Um, but they're friends now. He was the one who drove her to the airport because she's going overseas to participate in wrestling. So that's pretty much what her future holds. And the grandma is pretty much enjoying her life. She's going to different restaurants and so on and so forth. And like I said, Ji-yoon's father went back to being the chairman. And, you know, they didn't really show you the future for Nayun and Muan as they were walking down the aisle, but they showed it to you when they were showing you afterwards the future of Yoon Sol and um, Ji Yoon. And I guess Ji Yoon went to open up his own company, and he was doing a presentation. So it just shows you how much he's grown from the very first episode where he couldn't even like give a presentation, and now he's just so open and he's so like comfortable with having you know being on TV and doing all that. So the future for Nayun and Muan pretty much entails them getting married. So she was like, "Oh, can we get married now?" And he was like, "You have to grow this tall to get married." Da, da, da. So they're getting married, and then those two, yeah, he opened up his own company, and Not sure what they said she was doing, but I guess that's how it ends. So, Protect the Boss. That is the name of this series. And stay tuned for, well, join me again for when I give the rating for the entire series. And this wraps up our journey on The Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on The Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.